back to the channels. Now, if you guys stayed until the end of the last episode, you will see that we are now an affiliate with Eastwood Company. So excited. What that means is I've got a discount code right here, guys. I'm going to put a link in the description to the website. If you guys want to pick up any tools, use my discount code, save you some money. But before we get started on the new build, let me show you what they sent me. Yes, we've got an electric bead roller. Like, look, this thing is amazing. I ordered some more dies. They're gonna be here like tomorrow. So, and I know the video came out a little late. We missed the Sunday, but I have so much going on as far as getting this new build ready and ordering parts and all that stuff. So yes, we did get our own bead roller, which we're gonna need because I've got some ideas for the tank we're going to be doing on this new build. I'm going to show you a quick sketch of it right here. So a quick backstory on this sketch is normally you guys know that I do not do other people's designs. If I'm building something, it's usually my design, my build, something that I'm going to be doing for myself. And I was just searching the internet looking for some ideas, and I came across the picture you just seen, and I was intrigued. It's very much like my style. The frame where it comes back and the seat, doing the bobber seat, all that. A lot of that is very much like what I do. Other than the fork, I've never done a fork like this before. We're gonna give it a try. So there's some things on the frame that of course don't work. They work in drawings, but they don't work in real life. Like the wheel looks like it's touching the head tube. You know, there's things like that that aren't gonna really work. I can't run a fender like that. There's no handlebars on it, so I don't know how that's gonna look. Handlebars definitely change up the look of a frame, so we're gonna have to figure that out as well. We are gonna be running some 29s on there. Chuck, once he comes and picks up Rat Tail, which is in May, he's bringing me another set of wheels so that he can take those. Super cool for that. So, and I can't wait to show you the wheels. Hopefully I'll know today if we're gonna be doing what I think we're gonna be doing with the wheels. Sorry. Anyway, long intro. Either way, guys, let's get started in the build. I gotta clean some metal. We'll get back to bending. All right, guys, so I'm getting some stuff bent up. This is going to be the lower seat area there. I've already got this kind of bent up. This kind of looks like it's not roller bent. It looks like it might be straight and then have like a little curve up. So right now, got it laid down. So backbone, I think I'll use this tube here. I'll put my 1.5 inch dies in there, and then I think I'll just get it to where it kind of just goes up like that. Other part, we're gonna have to bend this one here slightly, and then this one here, he drew it kind of like a curve, but that curve is gonna be hard to do without causing a dent. Like if I put it in here, it's going to cause a dent right there. So if I can get it here and then roll it up, there is going to be a difference between here and here, how I do mine. So this is also a lot higher off the ground than what I would normally do. So I probably won't be this high off the ground, we'll be a little bit lower, but we'll figure that out later. I gotta draw it up on the table, but the table's kind of messy right now. This video is gonna kind of be a lot of talking, so I apologize, but since we're working through this as I go, I can't really speed through it like I normally do because this isn't something I normally do. So either way, I'm gonna finish bending this. I need to get a much tighter bend, and then we'll probably go ahead and jump on the other tube, the down tube bend the down tube some. I don't want a big bend there, but it does have a little bit, and I want to get as close to the drawing as I can. We are going to run a bobber seat. So it'll be a bobber seat here, but I am going to run a shock on it. We're not going to do springs. We're going to try to keep everything less motorcycle, I guess, looking. So that's on order. Just ordered the shock for the seat. I'll probably have to have another seat made because mine's brown. I want to do everything on this with black and some other colors, more sinister looking, not really hot rod looking. So, oh well, let's get to bending. so I'm just laying it on the floor. I have a 3-inch tube right here. So to give me an idea of where the wheel would sit roughly to the ground. So we're just kind of feeling it out right now. That'll get chopped some, that'll get bent up. I really don't know where that's going yet. Frame, of course, won't be this wide, but I just want to lay it on the ground, kind of get an idea of where it's going to be. And let's go clean this table off and try to get a drawing on this, because I have a feeling that because of where I put my head tube, that it's going to be a little bit lower than what this frame's going to call for. We're going to have to move that head tube up, and we're going to have to kick it a little bit more or less of an angle. I think I'm like 56 degrees. Probably have to kick that up a little bit, give it less of an angle. But other than that, so far so good. You can see, but after drawing this out, I think I'm gonna have to go up more and have the frame maybe come off the top of the table and then come down and let the seat be up a little bit higher. With it being a 29, I can do that. And basically what we'll do is take the whole frame and shift it this way. So normally you're coming really far down here, but spreading out further to your bottom bracket. So if I do this, I can actually shrink the frame some. Bringing it up, bringing the seat up, will allow me to have the same distance from here to here, just do it up there, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm getting this one bent here so that I have the down tube, but like I said, usually my issue is running into this here, but if I just move it up to there, and I can clamp that down, and then we'll just run that, and then work on, because this is where the bobber seat is roughly gonna be. I can actually come a little bit further and do it that way. Let's kind of see how that works. Working on the back end just to make sure I got enough tube. It doesn't look like I'm going to need to bend that straight piece. This actually works really well, and it looks like the picture. It's hard to tell because the upper chainstay kind of blocks this area, but that's where it goes. So this one will go here like that. These will connect together. Taking this 29-inch tube that I have here allows me to kind of have an idea where this is going to sit. And now I can sit it really close because I want it super close to the body. The fender is actually going to mount up here and not in here, per the picture. But I also want to make sure that I'm low and I'm not, too high up off the ground. But having this tube really helps. So now what we got to do is we're going to cut the upper backbone. I'm going to notch it first, cut it, and then we'll go ahead and work on the down tube here, and then go throw the other tube that we have in the bender. And so that way we can bend up, because this angle is going to be the angle that's going to come in here, and then I need it to kick up and land in here somewhere. You guys don't mind that bottom bracket that I'm using. That'll be a secret for later. So stay tuned and you'll find out why I'm using that. Got that center section pretty much fit up. Head tube ready in place. I made a little block so that I could move it up some. Everything's coped. I did move this tube in just a little more, which is fine because of where the seat's going to be. This is going to allow this to come up and have a little bit better transition. I wanted to show you guys. So I got hit up on Instagram from CGW Abrasives. These guys right here. So they sent me some flat discs and sent me a bunch of cutoff wheels. Their stuff's amazing. I usually use Empire abrasives, I think, and sometimes I'll have discs that just won't cut. Like you're sitting there with your cutoff wheel and it just sits there, like on the metal. They sent me these right here, which are like 0.45, I think. They're pretty thin, but they cut amazingly well, like butter. And I'm not just telling you this because they gave it to me. They gave it to me to try. They're flat discs. They have all different style flat discs. These are the red ones. They also do the black and the gray. These are the more aggressive, I guess. They're also made for stainless, so that's kind of cool. I'll link them in the description if you guys are interested. I am trying to get a discount code out of them, so if you want to wait, that would be a good idea until I get a discount code, and then maybe I can hook you guys up because I actually really like their product, and if it works for me, I want to give it to you. All right, anyway, all we got left now, I'm going to go ahead, because the bottom tube is last on this because of the way it turns up, I'm going to go ahead, cut this one at an angle, start fitting up this backbone area so that these two can connect together, and then we're going to go ahead and bust out the TIG and start tacking everything up so that it can't move. this is bent up. Now, right off the bat, you're gonna notice in the picture, the lower tube, yes, it's a lot higher off the ground. So you could probably fit like your shoe plus underneath that, which usually mine is about as low to the ground to where you can just fit your shoe under it. So it's a little higher than what I'm going to do anyway, but the way he has this ran, it goes here, it bends up right to the bottom bracket. And you can almost tell that this flowed like if this was all one piece, which I can't do because he does have a bend right here. So it goes this way and then it has a little notch. I'm gonna try. I think if I can stick this tube in the bender and turn it that way just so it's boop, like little boop, then I think I can get this to be exactly where it needs to be so that it can run and then this will kick that way, but it's gonna be hard to do. You can only fit so much in here. When you put the tubing in the bender, it's only going to allow you to here. So I'm gonna try. With it already being bent, that also gives you a little bit of an issue, and I don't wanna mess it up, but let's stick this in there. Probably need to see how much. It's gonna go this way. So you can see when you stick a bent tube in there, it's not gonna enjoy that. I'm gonna try that right there, because this tube's as long as I want it to be, and maybe I can give it that little kick. Let's try it. That might just work. Let's set it over there and see what it does. All right, let's see. We're gonna have to do some sanding just to get the metal pretty again. But I think that's gonna work. So it's there to there. That's going to work. What I'll do is have to cut this at an angle so that it butts up correctly. But that goes there. This will go here. I like my bottom bracket about 8 inches from the ground. So yeah, that's about there. So that'll go in there, and that's gonna work. And then it's got that little kick. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's, I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. That bender leaves some nice gnarly little metal scratch marks in it, so I'm just gonna clean it up before I weld it on. So I think it's close to the rendering-ish. It will look more like, I think, the rendering once the lower chain stays are on and the seat's in there, because the upper chainstay is going to really cover this area. I think in the drawing he has the upper chainstay going like this, but I'm not going to do that because I have something I'm going to be running in this vicinity, and I need it to be a good solid tank, and we'll explain that a little bit later. But everything's been TIG welded up. Top's going to get ground down. I don't really have to do much here because the bottom bracket is going right there, so we don't need to weld all that up. We're going to drill through that. And I do need to get the bottom down here, but I wanted to do it while it was in the jig. But she's straight, and that's what's important, is that it's super straight. It is really high up on my head tube, and that's because we're going to be running a 29 in here so close that I don't want it to hit. So it is, this is up quite a bit more than normal. But yeah, looking pretty good. So hopefully a few more parts will be in here in the next couple days, and I'll show you those, and then we'll get back to work. See you tomorrow. Welcome back. Next day, I've got Matt here with me with electric all wheel. He's going to go over. I know I said why I was going to be using this bottom bracket in this episode, so here's the reason why. We're going to be doing a mid-drive on the new Custom. Matt kind of explained what we have here.
So right now you're looking at a 1000-watt BBS HD 120 millimeter, and the 120 speaks to the width of the bottom bracket. And so when you buy these motors, they have varying insert lengths that match the bottom bracket lengths or widths for various bikes. And this one is a 120, and it works well with fat tire e-bikes when you do this build. This is an XT60 battery connector, and then after that, it's a Bafang parts buffet, if you will. You have your cable harness that brings you up to your handlebars. You have an extension as necessary. I brought this because you're known to build longer bikes.
Yes.
But I think we've got it figured out. This is a speed sensor connection, and it has a magnet that you actually screw or clip onto the spokes, and then it passes by a sensor and allows the motor to know that the wheel is running, and then counts the number of rotations so you can calculate speed. This is a gear shift sensor. Don't think we're using this single sprocket rear.
No.
Correct, all right. And then this is more of a minimalist SW102 display, very small, but it'll give you a speed readout, let you know your settings, and what your battery rating is. Universal thumb throttle. We did test this out before we got the camera rolling and found that I brought the wrong brake handles, but they're definitely not needed. So we were able to get this going. It is going to be powered by a 48 volt, 10 amp hour battery. I use this battery on a lot of our dual battery videos on the electric all wheel channel.
And that's way smaller of a battery than anything we've used.
It is the most nice compact. Generally what I do is it's in the bag, and then I just strap it to industry e-bike frame, and then suddenly I have more range. That's what that's about.
And like standard, when we're doing a bike and we want to run a front sprocket, you can run a smaller tooth sprocket to have a little less torque off the start, make it a little easier to pedal off the start, but it does run out. Or you go with the bigger sprocket, which gives you all torque. Explain that. What would the difference be between using those two?
So when at a lesser teeth count, you have a lower gear ratio, and so the essence of that would be a lot more torque. As you move into a higher teeth count, it's hard to get it running, but once you do, you get a lot more speed out of it. Okay. And that is, That's where you and I differ, right? I'm a speed junkie, and you're about the slow motion.
We're about going as slow and low as we can, because that's how we do it.
So I brought a couple. I had these on hand. This one has the offset. I know that we're looking for as much as we can get.
Yes. So the big deal, like my main concern is why I had him come over with this stuff, was just really making sure that we're covering plenty of room between the back wheel and having a good chain line. And when I was showing you guys here, this is a threaded bottom bracket. It doesn't necessarily need to be threaded, but as you can see, it's going to slide on. All of this is going to lock together, and what holds this on. So that's there.
So it's a spline connection here.
Right.
And then it will sit like this. There are 2 screws that attach to the motor itself.
And there's spacers that go, okay.
And then this nut will compress onto the bottom bracket. And then what you're looking at for that, what's the point, is that these little ribs will get compressed into the bottom bracket and keep it from moving around.
And then we have to add an arm off of the machine here, so that when the torque, because we're thinking of running, this here is going to be ran in this vicinity, and with the torque of that, you can kind of see where that's going to run. Now with the torque of that, it's going to actually pull itself down, so we're going to need some kind of an arm to stop it from ripping itself off.
Yes.
All right. And
so drive side, right side, we will have to roll it over.
Right.
And then what you're typically looking at is it's sitting on the outside. This is the general industry installation. So we'll be rolling in this way.
Which is fine, because it'll actually allow me to run my cables.
Right. Your motor is upside down though, so keep that in mind. So that is one of the downsides to this. The only other way would be here, at which you're resisting the pull off of the down tube.
So, but is there an issue with running it upside down?
No.
No. So,
except unless you just have to deal with
it. Yeah, I'm not concerned with that.
Come on, look at the plastic still on there.
I know, you gotta rip that up. So we are planning on running, he brought this battery. We're looking at either a battery like this, which is super small, compact, and we'll be able to stick it in the tank area, which is all gonna be covered up. You won't even know it's there. Or running a shark style battery, which is basically kind of shaped like his bag here, except 2 times bigger than that. Yeah. So that's kind of where we're going with this. We're probably going to maybe either run a coaster brake only and see what happens, or run a coaster brake with a hydraulic front.
Please use a brake. Oh. Yes, you're gonna give me anxiety on it.
It's chopper life, and we don't use brakes here. We don't need brakes. So yeah, so this full kit, this is kind of pieced together, right? We don't have like this is probably something that if someone needed, they could contact you for, and you could.
So in my foray into this realm, an instinctual notion is to go to Electrify Buy Company. They have preset kits where they just walk you through a drop-down selection of what you might need and what you're after. This battery obviously is not from them. This is Amazon, but they also sell batteries that accompany their stuff. And they have some really nice cube batteries, really compact, really high density, not good power output for applications like yours, right? You're looking for the tightest space, so you can fabricate around that to your custom desires. Right. And the bigger that case battery is, the more difficult it becomes.
Correct.
So Electrify Bike has a nice setup for that. They also sell the bling rings from Lecky, I think it's Lecky. Whatever. They can take you through that, and I think they also sell egg riders, which is a souped up controllable version where you can pick the settings for the motor and alter them, like you can change voltage input, etc. So that's my go-to, but also they sell these kits on Amazon. You can pick up BBS HD kit with accompaniment for I think $500. And then there it's picking
usually the expensive part I found is the battery.
Right.
Like the battery, you can get the whole. Yeah, you can get the kit. It might be $500, but then you go to buy the battery, and it's all of a sudden you're over $1,000 and everything, because
the industry right now says that everybody's worried about battery fires, right?
Yes.
I don't mistreat this battery, but it's got heavy use. I use this a lot. I carry it across. I carry it like it's just an accompaniment to whatever I want to use.
Okay.
And so I have faith in this company. There was a leap of faith, but I believe in them. And yes, moving forward for the top tier safety, UL certification, CE certification, you want anything that's going to say they're fabricating or creating and manufacturing these things to a standard that's worthwhile.
The biggest issue I think with fires is usually the charging of them.
Yeah, charging, and then unnecessary physical impact, like you puncture a cell.
Got it. Because I know I've seen charging issues where people have left them charged and they overload.
Still in that capacity, failed BMS.
Okay.
Right? But what I find is that a lot of those, a good fraction of those, are custom built batteries.
Okay. They're not company. And don't you sell these on your Amazon link?
They are sold on Amazon. We just recommend them. I've used them so much that I trust and believe in them. So that's what we've shared with all of our YouTube channel.
And I'm going to link his YouTube below. I'll put it here on the screen also. But I'll link his YouTube down there if you guys want to check out a lot of e-bike stuff that he does. It'll be a good resource for you. Other than that, dude, I appreciate you coming. Hopefully I'll have you back when it's time to install everything. Because right now everything's going to be a basic mock-up, but there's going to be some probably extensions of wires because these are standard, and we may need to make them longer. And
so I brought something. I wasn't sure if you'd ever seen it.
I do. I have a bucket of them.
You do these?
I do, yes.
These things are the lifesaver of all lifesavers.
Yes.
It's no soldering, heat gun, solder seal connectors.
Yeah, so they're just connectors that have the solder inside of them, and once you heat it up, you push the wires through so they're touching in the center, and then once you heat it up, it actually melts the solder, plus it heat shrinks the connection.
Yeah. And
then usually what I'll do is throw some heat shrink over all of it so that you have that black heat shrink over it so you're not looking at it. And buy it cheap. This is from Harbor Freight. I'm pretty sure mine's broken. It would just stay on. I thought that was getting really unsafe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gotta get another one of those. But we'll be doing some wiring in this build. I know you guys have been asking for electric, so I decided that this was the way to do it, opposed to just doing like I did my e-scooter when we did the big, huge electric back wheel. I wanted to be able to pedal because everybody was saying that it wasn't a bike because it didn't have pedals. So this will have pedals. We're trying to get it as close to that design as we can, but we're adding extra stuff to it, and it needs to be able to hold up. So there's going to be some things we got to do to the frame to make it stronger so that it can handle the torque of this off of that little teeny, this bottom bracket, there's not much to it.
Right words, yes.
Yeah, just trying to keep it as safe as possible.
You're dropping the big block into it.
Exactly, yeah, we're putting an LS on this frame. Hopefully, within the next few episodes, we'll be getting into mocking up, and there's going to be a lot going into this one, so the series is going to be a little fabrication heavy. But I do appreciate you coming out.
I am excited to be here. I like your shop, and I like what you do.
Awesome.
So we met at a bike show.
We did, yeah, the last bike show. We met at the one where the St. Pete bike show.
Right. My thought on that was, I remember the photo. It was so great. There was the Volkswagen van behind the bike. That was such a good picture.
I know, I need to post it.
I don't even know how you got that lucky. I was like,
that's my buddy's truck. He pulls up and I'm like, man, your wheels match my bike. Is that the same spray paint?
It was. You did well.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk to you next time.
Make sure you hit that like, comment, subscribe button, all that stuff that you're supposed to do at the end of the videos, and I'll see you guys maybe next week. Maybe not. Don't count on it, but possibly. All right.